Hey guys, welcome back to Content is Profit. Today I have a very special episode, raw thoughts of something that happened this weekend. And also I have a special free present for you that you don't want to miss. We only have 200 of this, so you really want to go take it. But before we get started into that, this past weekend, just something incredible happened in the industry. If you are part of the internet marketing, entrepreneurship world and you haven't heard of it, probably you have, is the launch of the Money Model book from Alex Hormozi. And there has been a lot of talk in the industry and the internet. We've seen the love post and we've seen the hate post towards the love side, and I'll explain why. But this guy just sold 3 million books out there, which was incredible. The way that he did it was very polarizing in many ways, but I think it was genius, and it was a masterclass on how to do things the right way and thinking long term. So if you're not familiar with Alex Hormozi, go check him out. They do have a company at the moment called acquisition.com, but I've been following him since like 2015, 2016, when I used to run fitness studios. That was his business model. In the presentation that he did on the weekend, he shared a little bit of that story. And he had a book called Gym Secrets. And that book, I took it and I basically owned every single thing that he put in there. And I started implementing it in our franchise-owned studio, whether corporate liked it or not. And we broke several records, getting one of the boutique studios to about 1,000 members. So I believe in this guy. I believe in what he teaches, in what he's done. And anyways, we keep, taking him. If you want to check him out on the podcast, it's called The Game. And, it's one of those guys to either you love him or hate him. But what we're going to be talking about today is I'm going to break down a little bit of the presentation that he did. Like I said, raw commentary on what it did, a couple of stories. And there's going to be also 2 systems that I want to share of something that we did that he puts in this. And do that. But before we get started, like I said, we have 200 of his books, 200 that we are giving away for free to you. So if you are part of this incredible Content is Profit community, you can go to businesscreator.club. Once you log in, we're actually giving you 30 days for free and also the book for free. You're going to put your information and there's going to be a page. There's a code, Money Models. Put the code in there. We'll give you access to the community, which we can, see some of the content that we have there. Jump on the calls, explore a little bit. If you don't like it, totally okay. We'll, you can just send me an email and be like, Luis, this is not for me. But luckily, knock on wood, we haven't had anybody say that yet. And we'll send you a code so you can get the book for free. So super stoked about this. Like I said, we only have 200 of these, so act fast. Let me know if you want one. I'm excited to share that content with you. But like I said, Money Models. Okay, so this is the 3rd book in his series. He has $1 million offers, $1 million leads, and then Money Models. So the way that he explains that he basically wrote those in a sitting, I guess, in a very long sitting, but he wrote them at the same time. And if you haven't consumed any of those, please go ahead and do it. We actually shared it with a lot of people in the community that they own brick and mortars. They're not necessarily so involved in the internet marketing world. And the feedback was incredible. A lot of people really love what he's doing there. Now, when I was in the fitness studio, right, running that, I remember we have very specific rules by the franchise on how we could market or how we could do offers or how can we, promote the products that we did. And some of those were not giving enough results, right? We had some sales targets, we had some lead targets, and with the material that the franchise were giving us or that corporate was sending to us, we were not achieving those results. So that's what led me to find some online information about this thing and this gym launch process, right? We didn't hire them because they were not allowed, but I basically bought the book and as a studio manager started implementing some of these things. A couple of these, the results where we double sales in the next month. The other is like we triple revenue down the line as well, a year in, with some of these very small implementation things that we could put in the business. Back then, I didn't know it, but we were implementing some of the money models that now they're specified in this book. So it was really, really cool. So I'll give you a walkthrough of basically the systems that are going to be in this book. There's only 4 money models, but there's multiple examples. And the cool thing is, like, after the webinar, which is free on YouTube, by the way, you can go watch it right now. Just search Alex Hormozi. He basically stays on for about 4 more hours on Saturday and then the 5 more hours on Sunday, taking calls for anyone in the world, answering the questions that they had, and they all fit within the frameworks of this book. So the analogy that I use to explain it, I guess, is I was on the phone with my dad yesterday, and for him, this is total newbie information. And he was asking me, he was part of it, he was watching the webinar, but he doesn't understand English too much. And he was like, man, like, that was so fast. All the information was so fast, and I couldn't follow along. And it was like just really challenging. And to me, like, the material that's in this book, it means so much, because when you enter a dark room, right, and maybe you use a candle. I don't know when was the last time you used a candle to light a room, but that's the analogy I'm making. If you ever use a candle, there's a certain amount of light around that candle, that things that you can see around it, right? And then you start walking down that room, and the room gets a little lighter, but it's still dark around you because it's one candle, right? All of a sudden, you get to a wall, and then there's another candle, so you light the second candle, and more of the room shows up. So let's say that's like, okay, my offer process. Perfect. Now the offer process is light up. I see a lot more in my business. I understand a little bit more. And then we're like, okay, well, our offer is taken care of, but let's walk this way and figure, a little bit more things out. So as a business owner, sometimes we encounter these situations where, we might not see the full path, but we believe that we got to move forward. We have this candle of the content that we're learning, or the things that we're learning, or the experiences that we're having, or learning from feedback from our customers, right? And then all of a sudden you get to the second or the third candle, right? Because you have one in your arm, the other one is in the other wall, light it up, the thing about your offer there, and then you light the third one, and then you have a little bit more of the process unveiled, and you learn about that, and then you optimize. And as you move forward in your journey, right, you're turning these candles on, and your process starts to light up the room, and you now understand your whole system. You now understand the lead acquisition process. Now you understand the sales process. All these elements are new candles that we're lighting up. So up to this point, how I felt in our business was that we were walking very fast in the dark, trying to light these things up and learning more and more about the business, right? And we got to a point where we understood, the process that we had lined up, the value proposition that we had, the different products. Obviously, when we acquired the studio, that got pretty complex in a way as well. We're not just an agency, and, we're trying to stay niche, but now with podcast studios, a little bit different. Anyways, and we're like lighting all these candles up, but it still felt like there was like more in the darkness. Maybe that's how you feel right now if you're trying to play this game. Certainly, my cousin, Victor, who's also starting his fitness journey or his fitness business in Miami, felt that way when we share about, this event. And when he released this book and he said, what's in it, the money models, how to actually make money while acquiring those leads, or how to actually be profitable, because a lot of people make money, but they're not profitable, right? We're at a stage where we're paying a special attention to being profitable. I feel like somebody just switched that room on. I felt like somebody just clicked the switch and the whole room lighted up. And I was like, this is the path. This is the workbook that I need to continue to move faster and being able to provide exceptional value to our listeners, to the people that are coming in Business Creator Club, which, by the way, like, we're building thanks to you. Thank you so much for all the feedback that have been coming through there, and also for our studio and for our high-end services. So to me, that's why it meant like so much. And that's why we're giving away 200 of those books. We're also going to be doing a breakdown inside of the community. But enough of me hyping this up. I'm going to read some full credit to Jonathan Montoya, who's a friend. He also we also worked on his content for a bit. We don't work with him anymore. But he's an incredible guy, and he does incredible work in the affiliate work. But he had this post where he broke down all the system. We're going to put it online as well. But basically, there are 15 model mechanisms. Then when, chains stacked and combined correctly, can transform any business into a cash flow machine that pays for itself, baby. That's a beautiful part. So The system number one is the attraction accelerator. This is everything that's in the book, by the way. You can take notes right now. I'm also reading out of a post at the moment. But if you don't get enough replies and opt-ins, your web pages don't convert, people don't trust you enough to buy, from your content, or your leads cost too much, this is your bottleneck. This is how you identify your bottleneck. So he lists here five most powerful attraction mechanisms. And I'm going to share with you 2 examples that we did and the results were massive, right? Number 1 is strategic giveaways. This is a 7-day formula, puts strangers into buy mode within a week using grand prizes in a specific way, to flood your business with people that already want the most expensive stuff in your business. The second one is decoy offers. This dummy offer gets customers to ignore your cheap stuff because they like your expensive stuff even more, even though it costs way more than expected. And the cool part is this is all ethical. Everything is proven by data. Every piece of content that's in this book was researched by thousands and thousands of businesses that they conducted live calls and live workshops so they could get the data so it can give to anybody. The mission of these guys literally help small business owners. So such a fangirl right now. The other one is buy X, get Y for free. This quantity multiplier gets customers to buy way more than they plan, and thank you for it. This mechanism turns discount offers into irresistible free offers that get people to buy higher quantities of your stuff or months of service on the spot. Pay less now or pay more later. So that's system number 1. Now, the story I'll share is, this is why I believe so much in this. The number 1 is we ended up helping a business a while back called Degree Wellness. And they came to us because they needed more leads. So we implemented the giveaway without knowing that the giveaway was one of these, money models. And the way that we did it is we partnered with 6 businesses around this brick and mortar, right? Businesses that were complementary to the main business. So if you're wellness, it could be a fitness gym, it could be a market, it could be different things. And we collected a bunch of prizes from this business and we created the $6,000 giveaway. And we sent 3 emails to every single list of those partners. Be like, hey guys, on Friday, we're doing a giveaway and everybody can get these prizes. When we did the giveaway, only obviously one winner, but we directed everybody be like, as a thank you, we're going to gift you X. And it was something of value from, that customer. And when they redeemed their offer, it was, hey, you can come to our studio so you can redeem the offer. 300 people booked in one weekend to go and experience this studio. 300 people, 2,000 emails, 300 people decided to go to the studio. So this is very powerful, guys. If this is the bottleneck, decoy offers, that's something that we're working on right now for the studio. We legit have a very, very high end offer that, we've executed on in the past, but we haven't really advertised it too much here. We don't say it, but we're going to start doing it because it shows value in a very different way. The cool part about this book, which I cannot wait to receive, mine are already shipping, which by the way, get your copy in 200. Just go to businesscreator.club for free. If you get in there and you put the code money models at the checkout, you're going to receive 30 days for free in our community and a free book. Anyway, so good. All right. Number 2 system is your epic upsells. This is basically what I'm working on right now for the studio, right? Turn every sale into even bigger sales. This is where, Jonathan, this guy here has made 10 of his millions, attraction mechanisms. But there's classic upsells. There's menu upsells. The menu upsells, I thought it was very interesting. This helpful consultant process gets customers to realize you're not selling them stuff they don't need. Once you earn this trust, they'll take the next thing in your offer, usually buying way more expensive stuff faster and feeling grateful for it. So this is a problem that we had in our studio when we first started. Is we had these packages that it was everything included, but they didn't want the copy because they wanted to write it, or they didn't want the thumbnail because they wanted to design it, or all these things that we thought it was needed. So we've took a little bit more of a consultative approach. And right now we're offering these specific packages with specific assets that they want. And then we just offer support and Business Creator Club for them to, put them in the right direction. Either they can afford it or if they want to just do it themselves. And it's helped us with conversions massively as well. And then what happens is they start working on that. They start getting results. They start getting traction, and then time becomes more valuable. So then our company takes over down the line. So it becomes, the upsell conversation becomes a lot easier. You have rollover upsell. This paid forward system turns new customers into your highest paying repeat customers and gets all customers more excited about your next offer. Oh man, so good. All right. So system number 3, right? We're going to, there's 4 systems, and each one of them has subsystems. That's the ones that we're describing, is a deal maker downsells, right? Turn every no into cash flow. And this is something that also we started recently in our studio, and that has helped big time. It's like, if you constantly hear no when selling, do payment plans and get ghosted, push too hard and regret it, give out panic discounts to close sales, or give up when you hear no, this system is for you. So I definitely feel identifying, because in our specific case, we cannot do a lot of discounts, right? Production work is, margins are not the best. So if we do that, then we're shooting ourselves in the foot, and then we end up hating what we do. We did that for a long time when we first started. So anyways, there's 3 highest converting downsell mechanisms, right? The payment plan downsell, your cash flow algorithm steps customers from I can't afford it to when can I start without lowering your prices, includes proven payment chunking that, maximizes purchases and cash flow. Trial downsells, and then you have future downsells. Like I said, all these things are in the book, which you can get for free. Go to businesscreator.club, put the money model code, get your book. If you want to be part of the community, awesome. If you don't want to be part of the community, totally okay. But get the book, guys. Like, it's only 200 that we have available for you for free. And then let's see. And then the last system, as we wrap up this hyped full show, is the continuity blueprint, which is what a lot of businesses, they want to get to. It's like the holy grail. It's like, okay, how do we get people to pay us more often? This, and again, another thing that we implemented with that analogy of like the candle is like, I'm trying to, figure things out. And it was like, the model when we acquired the studio was pay per session. And I was like, man, I don't know how much money next month is going to bring. Like, this is like very scary. So we started implementing some memberships and some continuity, and, we got better at it with over time. But this is one of those, like, those things that sometimes it might not be as easy to identify, might be in front of us, but it's not the same. But anyways, there's 3 mechanisms, right? The bonus continuity, the discount continuity, and the wave fee continuity. And the system number 5 is the fast cash, 7-day countdown sequences, quarterly cash calendar. Anyways, all these things is, man, like I'm telling you, when I saw this list, I'm like, I've heard of this. There's 1,000 mentors or whatever gurus online saying it on YouTube, but it still felt like that little light, just illuminating a little chunky of dark at a time, and not like somebody flipped the switch. So I truly believe like this book is going to help a ton of entrepreneurs. And I was a big fan of the event. They were out there for 9 hours the first day, and then 6 the second day, because they're committed to do this. And I was sharing it to my wife, and she's like, wow, like, he's making so much money. And I'm like, I don't think they need the money, man. Like, they literally, it's the book. Obviously, they have the bills to pay and like their event to do. But at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, like day one of me, I feel it, because maybe the time that we've invested, I'm grateful for that time that we've invested as entrepreneurs to learn all these things. But at the same time, part of me was like, man, I wish we could have moved a little faster. And sometimes it was not just us, it's obviously elements that we cannot control, like our family, or, things that happen outside of work, or, there's many variables that influence the path of an entrepreneur. As I close, I saw a post on Facebook about this event, right? It's like, almost like throwing a lot of shade on the fact that, there was an offer, which is the one that we purchased, which is you got to get 200 books, and then you get all these materials and the breakdown processes and all this stuff, like the guides, right? Which is like really, really valuable for me, I guess, I think. And the person was complaining that we should not be giving away books to people, that people should be hungry, that they should be going to the library and finding things out. I'm like, man, but that does take a lot of time, and people can be hungry, and we can still help them. We can still, give them something. I remember I was that guy. I was like in college going to, the library, the college library. I went to like the Small Business Association and asked a bunch of questions, and it took a lot of time. And like, it's been since like 2015 since we're being, going at this. And every year we get better, and every year we get better. And I guess like this is my form to say, like, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Like, the people with family, with kids, they might not have time to go to the local library to go find out. They might not have time to scroll through the internet for 30 minutes because their baby's crying, right? Like, I get it. We've been there. So we're extending this, right? We invested in those 200 books. Yes, for the playbooks and the things, which, by the way, we're going to be breaking them down in Business Creator Club, but also to have that physical manifestation of an information that we can give you. So again, businesscreator.club, go in there, 30 days for free. You get the book for free. If you don't like it, totally okay. Just send me an email. We'll stop the membership. And if you pay, we can refund you, but the coach will give you the 30 days for free. Anyways, like, these are the tools that I wish I had when we first started this, so we could see the full picture, we could see the full room and the possibilities on how can we combine these offers to the products that we already have and the monetization systems and the money models, so we can get the most out of our business and provide the most amount of value. So stay tuned, because the next couple of years are gonna be fire, baby. And let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, super raw and honest this one was. Hopefully I took it to the end. So if you are here, thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.